I didn't actually realise how scruffy I looked today, but never mind. Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Welcome to episode 22 of Albums Ranked, the episode series where we take a band's entire discography, rank it from the least favourite all the way to the favourite. Today is October 18th, so we're over halfway in the spooky month, so I thought, why not carry on the rankings with a typical Halloween-esque band, and today that band, as the title suggests, is Mercyful Fate. Mercyful Fate are a crack-up, interesting band I have discovered. I won't lie, the first interaction I had with Mercyful Fate was definitely because of Metallica. I played the Mercyful Fate song that they released on their Garage Inc. album, and at first didn't realize that it was actually a medley of a bunch of songs, and then pretty much disappeared from it. Didn't go into who Mercyful Fate were, didn't go into who King Diamond was until recently, and then I discovered again to be like, hey, they'd be cool for Halloween, and here we are. So with that out the way, I reckon we just get straight into this ranking. Mercyful Fate, we know who they are. They're, fronted by the legendary King Diamond, Danish performer, Danish band. Typical for, satanic and occult imagery and lyrics and whatnot. On a couple of albums, there's that middle chunk in their discography where it's not exactly satanic as such. And then the last one and the first one are. But anyway, if you're a fan of Mercyful Fate, you know all of this. So we've got 7 albums to get through. Not a big list, but without further ado, I reckon we just get straight into it with the ranking. So let's go. So coming in at the bottom, coming in at number 7, we've got the album from 1998. We've got Dead Again. I've been listening to these albums pretty much on repeat, like for days, just to kind of really hone in what goes where. And I've discovered that ranking these are quite hard. All these albums are actually quite enjoyable. They all have their own little quirks about what makes that album better than this one. The only reason, like I say, I've put Dead Again at the bottom, but that's not to say that Dead Again is a bad album. If you're like me, and you're like starting to get into a certain band, or you want to get into a certain band, but you don't know where to start, so you watch people talk about them, like if you watch rankings to know what albums are good, don't take this ranking as Bible. If you want to go listen to Dead Again, you won't be disappointed. It's a good album. Yeah, the production is a tiny bit different compared to like the whole rest of the discography. This one's a lot more, what's the word? It's a lot more muddy. It's denser, you could say. The guitar tone is a bit like, it's a bit more fuzzy than others. But I mean, other than that, there are still some pretty awesome songs on here. Torture, 1629, the first song, I think is great. I think it's a fantastic opening song. It is honestly so much fun, and you can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's cool. I enjoyed The Night, the second song, and Since Forever I quite enjoyed as well. The little ending of Since Forever, the vocal ending, was eerie and typical Mercyful Fate, typical King Diamond, you could say. But the rest of it was just kind of like, it's sort of a their album. It's a good album, but it is still a their album. However, I will defend the title track, Dead Again, the 13-minute escapade of, that's a great song. I think it's awesome. And then it's just, it's one of the more epicer Mercyful Fate songs because of how long it is. But still, other than that, it's not a bad album. Just because it's bottom doesn't mean it's bad. But yeah, unfortunately, the other ones reign more supreme over it than this one. But yeah, other than that, I would still recommend it to someone. I would still recommend to listen to this whole discography. So yeah, but before we start recommending stuff, let's get through the rest of it. So yeah, number 7, Dead Again. Number 6 is Into the Unknown from 1996, the album before it. This album's a bit more, in my opinion, a bit more memorable. The last one is like, you can kind of forget like what the songs are, but here they start to stand out and you read the track listings and you're like, oh, cool. This one is a catchy album. They're all incredibly catchy albums, but Into the Unknown has some really weird little good hidden gems on it. Lucifer is a fun little opener. It's only 90 seconds long, but it's cool. It just sets up the tone for what Merciful Fate are, you know. The Uninvited Guest is a fantastic song. Definitely one of the better songs off this album. Listen to the Bell. I quite liked. The title track, Into the Unknown, is freaking cool. Like, that's probably, again, one of the better ones. Under the Spell is fun. However, one that I weirdly get a kick out of, Dead Time. I think that's really clever. I've never thought to call bedtime dead time. It's way past your dead time. It's really cool. It starts with this a cappella lullaby thing. And it's an eerie song. It's like, it's not a heavy song. It's definitely like a lot more calm, but it's really, really fun. And when I heard that song, I was like, damn, this is weird. This is eerie, and it's cool. This song's got Cthulhu on it. This album ends with Cthulhu, The Mad Arab Part 2, which is a sequel to a song off another album that we haven't talked about yet. But still, Cthulhu is cool because it's like, is it the heaviest song? I'm not sure, but it's definitely one of the funner ones. Cthulhu. It's like, it's heavy. The way he sings Cthulhu, it's like the heaviest, because King Diamond is such a falsetto voice. When he growls Cthulhu, it's so cool. And it's a great way to, who's that? Lynn Fox. It's such a great way to end the album too. It's a really, really cool song. But yeah, again, overall, great album. These albums are all cool, are all good. And again, I would recommend listening to this one. But yeah, for me, it comes in at number 6. Number 5 is their album from 1992. We're just going backwards. The number 5 is In the Shadows. In the Shadows, I won't lie, is a pretty good jam. I think it's really, really cool. Coming off, like, you know, the famous first 2 albums, to hear this album was like, oh, it's actually still good. You know, we've all listened to the first 2 albums, and maybe some of us haven't actually dwelled into what came later. But actually, the third release, In the Shadows, is a good time. Songs like Egypt is might get annoying when you first hear it, but let it play a few times, and I swear you'll get into it. It's a cool opener. The Bell Witch is probably one of my favorite songs on this CD. It's a cool album. I don't know why. It's just, The Bell Witch is a really, really cool song. I like the story behind it. Rather than like satanic stories and concept stuff, this one tackles more like conceptual horror stuff, right? So The Bell Witch, the song, goes back to like an old urban legend of a Bell family haunted by witch, something like that. But anyway, 13 Invitations is cool. Shadows is fun. Legend of the Headless Rider, that's a really cool song too. And the last song on here is a song called Is That You, Melissa, which is a throwback to the first album. It's a really cool, fun album. Please listen to these albums, you know, after the first 2. I swear to God, these albums are worth listening to. It's also got a bonus track, Return of the Vampire, which is the, what is that? Is that like the EP song, I think? I could be wrong, but I think, yeah. So it's I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Yeah. Other than that, though, not too much to go on the Old Oak. The Old Oak. I really like The Old Oak. That's a really, really cool song. This album is genuinely really, really fun, and it's an eerie, horror-themed Merciful Fate album. What more do you want? But yeah, obviously there's some more that are better than that. But yeah, this one is still really good. So I've got In the Shadows at number 5. Number 4 is Merciful Fate's last album from 1999, and that is 9. The reason this one beats the others is mostly because, one, we're back to satanic occult themes and stuff, and it's just such a fast album. When I say fast, it's 44 minutes, but like all the songs are fast. Do you know what I mean? Like the slowest song on here, I think, and I don't really want to say this, but I think I have to. I think the slowest and the weakest song on here is actually the title track, 9. It's like, I don't know, it just sounds a bit dumb. But everything else on here is freaking awesome. Like, Last Rites is great. The Church of St. Anne, which I'm pretty sure St. Anne, correct me if I'm wrong, please do, but I'm pretty sure St. Anne isn't actually real. I'm sure it's just a play on words. Church of St. Anne, Church of Satan. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure. Sold My Soul was a bit repetitive and a bit annoying, but things like House on the Hill, Burn in Hell, And Insane, I thought Insane was fucking cool. Insane is a literal insane song. It's so fast and so chaotic. And Kiss the Demon, I thought was great. Kiss the Demon that's hanging off my wall, which I'm pretty sure would... is it the Baphomet? I don't know. But still, it's so cool. And even Buried Alive was just a really cool song. Honestly, this is such a fun album. I'm glad the last album that they did was actually a good one. And again, would recommend it. Go listen to these albums, team. I swear, they're really, really good. But yeah, 9 is a fun album. It's not a concept or there's nothing really deep behind it, but it's just back to the old Merciful Fate that we love, you know, the satanic and the occult stuff. It's just so good. Honestly, this album is great fun. Number four is number 9. I wasn't sure if I was going to put this album here. I actually thought it was going to be lower. But the more I keep listening to it, the more I freaking love it. Number 3 is Time. Time, I honestly thought was going to be a dumb album. Purely because the name of it was just one word. Nothing really amazing about it. And the album cover too. It was like, oh, it looks like a half-ass album. People would probably put this at the bottom. And I don't blame them. However... I'm not one of those people. I've chucked Time at 3, and the reason for that, it's incredibly fun. It's pretty much on par with 9 in terms of like how fun all the songs are, I reckon. Nightmare, Be Thy Name, which is this really, really fun, eerie opener. The music in that is really cool. Angel of Light, which is obviously about Satan. Really, really cool stuff. Witch's Dance, that's a fast, you know, upbeat song. And then there's this weird little dancey not ballet, I don't know the word, but it changes completely in the middle of the song and just does this eerie kind of swaying dance music like you would see witches dancing to. So cool. The Mad Arab, the song that we were talking about prior in Into the Unknown, Cthulhu, The Mad Arab Part 2. This is the prequel, you know, this is The Mad Arab. That's a fun song. The more I listen to that, the more I really, really, really like that song. My Demon was a great song too. Honestly, they're just they're so memorable, these songs. And, but Time, the title track of Time, I thought was actually, the more I listen to it, it's actually quite beautiful. I really, really, really love the song Time. I think it's really cool. It's nothing special. It's only 4.5 minutes long. It's just a standard song, but the melody that flows through it is almost ghostly is the word I want to use. It's creepy and eerie, and however, beautifully and melodic at the same time. Go listen to Time, the song, and you'll get what I mean. And then the rest of the half of the album, you know, the last 5 songs. The Preacher is a great song. Mirror was cool. The Afterlife was great. Honestly, Time is a fantastic album and would highly recommend Time. Yeah, and going off that high praise, you can probably tell that's why it's at number 3. Now, for sure, we hummed and hawed about these two. Obviously, these two were going to be 2 and 1, but it's a matter of which one is better. For me, number 2 is the Debut. Debut comes in at number 2, Melissa. Yeah, I love Melissa though. Melissa's a fantastic album and I love the artwork as well. And what's funny about when I was first listening to this album again to kind of be like, all right, let's see how good this album actually is. It cracked me up to listen to it and realize that this is the entire Metallica song. You know, songs like we've got Evil, Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven, and Satan's Fall. They're all included in that medley that Metallica do. And when you hear the originals, they're actually so cool. It's cool to hear how these songs were actually, you know, written and what the solos are actually like, and especially to hear how the vocals are actually supposed to be done. Like, you hear a song like Evil, the first song, if you're familiar with the Metallica version, there's obviously no falsetto high squeals in Metallica. So when you listen to the song like Evil, I was born in the cemetery under the sign of the moon, I think, is that the lyric? When he says the word moon, it's like, you know, it's so high. It's just like, oh, all right, cool. Same with Curse of the Pharaohs. This whole album is full of high register. And you finally realize that the actual song that they start the medley with, Satan's Fall, on here, it's an 11-minute song. I don't actually know if it warrants 11 minutes. because there's a bunch of lyrics and then it's like, 8 minutes of music. And it's just like, do we need all that music in the middle? I'm not sure. Do we need an 11-minute song? But it's still great. And the title track, obviously, Melissa, is great as well. And even the other songs that don't get put in the medley. I know I keep bringing the medley up a lot, but hear me out. At the Sound of the Demon Bell, that's a really, really cool song. Literally, this is a 7 out of 7 album because, 7 tracks. It's so fun. It's really, really cool. The falsetto might get on your nerves if it's not what you're a fan of, if it's not what you're used to. King Diamond's voice might set you, might get on your nerves a bit, but just try to enjoy it, if you want. It's generally, they're fun albums. This whole band is fun albums, I swear to God. And yeah, you can't go wrong with any of these songs. They're all great. So, yeah, Melissa, number 2. Which obviously means, team, was it predicted? I'm not sure. But number 1 is the ever so awesome, the incredible artwork, the pretty much staple in their little discography, but huge career. Don't Break the Oath. Don't Break the Oath. Number 1 is Don't Break the Oath. First of all, without even listening to anything, look at that album cover. It's black metal predating black metal. When did this come out? 1984. So it was the same year as Bathory's debut album, but obviously, way, way different. This is pretty much black metal. What I called it pretty much power black metal, which are, 2 complete opposite genres, but still, the first 2 albums, they're both pretty dark and satanic and occulty, but this one's more fun, and I just love this album so much. A Dangerous Meeting is a great song. Nightmare is fun. Desecration of Souls, honestly, give this album a listen, and you won't regret it. Night of the Unborn, it's just awesome. But the song that really, really puts it up there for me is literally pretty much the title track, but it's not the title track. It's called The Oath. The 7-minute song about someone, the character, just giving themselves, accepting Satan as their Lord. And it's just like, praise be. Isn't that great? A 7-minute song of just opening yourself up to the Dark Lord. Really, really cool. Gypsy, a fun little 3-minute song. Honestly, though, it's really fun. I really liked Welcome Princess of Hell. That's a really fun song. All these songs are fun. And then you got 2 One Far Away. So again, 90 seconds long. But then Come to the Sabbath. That's a fun song as well. I really loved Come to the Sabbath. Great way to end the album too. Honestly, Do Not Break the Oath is a fantastic record and should be a staple in everyone's, collection. And I'm annoyed that I don't have it. It's at my shops. I haven't been paid yet from work. I might buy it. Not sure. But yeah, honestly, this is a 9 out of 9 album. Oh, actually it might be 8 out of 9. Anyway, that's high enough for me to be like, yeah, I love this album. It's number 1. Don't Break the Oath is a great album. And like I just said, highly, highly recommended. Again, embrace the vocals, accept them for what they are, and then that way you read the lyrics. Reading the lyrics along helps too, because I find that if I can't get into it, maybe it's because I don't know what they're actually saying. But once I read the lyrics, it's like, oh, that's actually better. That's how I got to like death metal. I couldn't fuck with it until I read the words. But yeah, anyway, that is my number 1. The greatest Merciful Fate album is definitely Don't Break the Oath. Awesome as team. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while we tackle our first Halloween-themed ranking. With Merciful Fate done and dusted, you could probably guess who's going to come next, but that's a bigger catalog to get through, so it might take a tiny bit longer. But anyway, aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below your favorites. Why is Melissa actually that best? Tell me why Time sucks. Tell me why Dead Again is actually completely underrated. These are the opinions we care about. Everyone knows how I roll. Like I said, you could probably predict who's going to come next after doing Merciful Fate. But if you can't, if you're in suspense the whole time, sweet as. But until we get the next video out, everybody, stay inside, stay safe. You guess you could say Happy Halloween. We're not quite there yet, but we're in the midst of it. Happy Halloween, hail Satan, and I will see you all with another ranking in the next video. Later, Bolt.